This is big because it was always a question of whether or not they were really investigating him and gathering evidence regarding a charge.
Hey guys, I know I haven't posted on this account in a little minute, but
Today on April 16th, singer David has officially been arrested for the passing of Celeste. The news read, Variety reports that David has been arrested for the passing of Celeste Hernandez, who was found in Hollywood in the trunk of a Tesla in September. According to the LAPD, David, whose real name is David Anthony Burke, was arrested by the robbery division for the passing of Hernandez and is now being held without bail. The case will be presented to the district attorney's office on Monday for filing consideration, with many questioning on why his arrest took so long to happen. It's actually because they were trying to get David's friends to turn on him, which they ended up doing. One of the witnesses in the Celeste case even called out David for being responsible for her passing, but the most concerning part of being the witness is allegedly David's secret lover named Neo. He wrote on Instagram, Thankfully, I'm legally fine in every way. And boy, do I got all of my receipts for things which resulted in the news of investigation by the state of California against David Burke, with a target maybe involved in having committed the following offenses. 1 count of M.
There is now pending in the Superior Court of the County of Los Angeles the above-entitled grand jury investigation by the state of California against Target David Burke, wherein Target may be involved in having committed the following criminal offenses against the laws of the state of California, to wit, 1 count of This is big. This is big because it was always a question of whether or not they were really investigating him and gathering evidence regarding a
They were able to make David the #1 suspect and even arrest him because what was found on his iPhone, shown inside a courtroom this week. A tweet reads, Hey, David, were you sitting on this hill next to the drainage gully thinking about what you did? Where David took several suspicious photos in one night documenting his tracks of what he did throughout a random day. However, also in David's phone, they even found an old video that he took that examiners believe happened right when Celeste had passed away. The news reads, Video David recorded at his other house where Celeste stayed in February 2025. Celeste had likely been passed for a few weeks at this point. But also in February, he leased a new red Tesla and stopped using the black one, where an investigator noticed the picture frame behind David, noticing it's a secret rental home. But also the date that it was recorded that lines up perfectly to the time investigators believe Celeste had passed and randomly stopped using the black Tesla.
I know I haven't posted on this account in a little minute, but I just had some words to share with you for 2025. Despite all the craziness that's going on, all the turmoil, the natural disasters, the pain and things like that this year, I just wanted to tell you guys not to be discouraged and not to lose hope and not to turn your face from God in these times of evil. And it seems like just at the start of the year, it's literally January, all this stuff is happening. It's like the most insane, it's February now, but it's the most insane start to a year that I've ever seen. But God has not given us a spirit of fear, but of power and love and a sound mind. So keep that sound mind, 2025. Stay prayed.
But this is really what got the police's attention, because in the video, David mentions all the passings that have been happening in his life. Investigators looked into it at the time he recorded the video, and they noted there was no family or close friends that had passed away at the time he recorded it, only the passing of Celeste. However, this is where it gets very bad for David. Now that he has been arrested, all the files in the passing of Celeste case has been released to the public. It reads, David's family has now been summoned to testify as witness before a grand jury in the passing of Celeste Rives, where they would end up noting 48 hours before David's family was summoned. David's Tesla, the one involved in crime, was now set to go to auction due to David not picking up his car in an impound lot. But moments before the auction, he went and picked it up.
Read you what Steve recently posted on X, okay? David's Tesla, the vehicle in which Celeste Rivas Hernandez was found, was held by LAPD for only 48 hours to process evidence. After that, it was returned to the impound lot for David to retrieve, which he had not done until today. The Tesla was scheduled to go to auction tomorrow morning at 9 a.m., and I had planned to attend and inspect it. However, in the final hours before auction, David, or someone with power of attorney acting on his behalf, picked it up. When I checked last week, the storage fees were approximately $10,500 as the vehicle had been released and available for pickup since September 10th, before Celeste had been identified. I hope just the thought of that vehicle haunts David and anyone else that knew Celeste was in the trunk for the rest of their lives.
Proving that David is aware of what's happening and being involved in wanting his property back. But it was also a way for the feds to locate where David has been because no one has heard from him for the last year. David would then ultimately be arrested. As the news wrote, David will likely face M charges for the passing of Celeste Rives, and that's because the grand jury that's hearing his case will be asked to hand down an indictment. Sources tell TMZ they wanted to arrest David as soon as possible after finally locating him because of what else they found inside of the private rental home that he took the video in earlier. In the evidence file, it reads, "A private investigator reveals an incinerator capable of burning at temperatures up to 1,600 degrees had been found in David's home."
Wondering just what it was that a private investigator named Steve Fisher found inside David's home when he was given access last October. The PI reported seeing, quote, items you would expect to find on a farm rather than in a home in the Hollywood Hills. And today, we are learning about one of those.
The PI reported seeing, quote, items you expect to find on a farm rather than in a home in the Hollywood Hills. And today we are learning about one of those items where the police would leave a note that this piece of equipment is typically used at farms and is actually illegal for any Los Angeles resident to have within their home without a permit or owning a registered farm. David literally had this sitting in a closet of a rental home. However, everything would change at the end of the arrest file, where they would document the last ever footage of Celeste being alive, which just so happened to be on David's own camera roll. It reads, 1 year ago, January 2nd, 2025 is the day of the last known photo my investigation has uncovered of Celeste Hernandez. It is important to emphasize that law enforcement investigators have access to more extensive resources and may very well have images or evidence from after this date. According to the image's metadata, the photo was taken at 505 on January 2nd, 2025, where geolocation analysis shows that it was taken in Baldwin Hills, showing Celeste in a designer rip-style hoodie, but this is where it gets weird. A reply to the investigator read, "I saw this on Reddit. Is the hoodie circled not the same one Celeste is wearing in the picture, showing the same hoodie on the floor inside of David's room on a selfie that he took? Meaning this could confirm David and Celeste had been sharing a bedroom. But also during the police investigation, they also found this sweater that Celeste was wearing at David's home."
Oh, yo, wait.
Oh, look it. Answer that one. That's so mean if you don't answer
Which
that.
one? What's good, David? Big fan, big spam. Oh, thank you. Mitchell.
I gotta stop with him if you even.
Are we
We need to delete this.
Are we, Maz, can we delete all VODs? And then as soon as the stream ends, delete the stream too?
With that evidence going viral online during the beginning of the investigation, you wouldn't believe what David tried doing. It reads, sources believe after David hired his new legal firm, plus transferring assets from out his name, he's preparing for police to close on him. Expect his arrest soon, which would be correct with him now being arrested April 16th. But he literally tried transferring all of his assets from out of his name before he got arrested.
Transferring these assets in the middle of an investigation, as opposed to 2 years ago or a year ago.
Right.
Could a court look at this and say this was a deliberate attempt to, what you say, concealing assets, and they could breach it, they could pierce it, they could say, even though that you've transferred this into your mother's name, that was invalid. This is a way for, let's say, a plaintiff who sues him, or let's say in a criminal judgment to pay that fine. Can a court look at that and say, even though you transferred it, it's still open season on those properties?
Yeah, this is what's so puzzling about this. It is a very basic premise of law throughout the country that you can't transfer assets after the event happens that would otherwise trigger collecting on those assets. So we have rules in different states. Sometimes they're called fraudulent transfers. Sometimes they're called fraudulent conveyances. There's a lot of different names for them. But the crux of it is you cannot transfer assets.
Try to pull a fast one, try and protect all of his assets. It didn't end up working in the end, and the singer has now been arrested. Like the video if you're happy about that. And comment down below what you believe truly happened to Celeste.